Good afternoon, guys. Cool. Yeah, the reason I came on stage dancing was to echo what the young guy said earlier, Just because you're in robotics and in engineering doesn't mean you have to be a boring person. You can enjoy life as well. And especially for us Africans, it's in our blood to dance and everything. And so if you see a robotics engineer that's African, you shouldn't expect that he can't dance. So good afternoon. It's great to be here again. First of all, thank you Techplus for the invite once again. I think the position that you guys are filling in the ecosystem is really important. To create spaces like this for young people to come together and learn about the challenges, not just that Nigeria is facing, but Africa is facing, and also to have a discussion around the solutions for it. And then second is thank you to all you, especially I like that I can see a lot of young faces in the crowd today. So thank you all for making the time, because it shows the commitment to thinking about the solutions to the challenges that Nigeria and Africa is facing, and your time will be wasted. Hopefully through all of the conversations that have been had today, you guys will take something away and also turn into innovators and into people creating not just Nigerian solutions, not just African solutions, but also global solutions as well. So today we're going to talk about AI and robotics. And before we start, just to give everybody the same foundation, to give everybody the same brief, what are we talking about when we're talking about AI and robotics? That's artificial intelligence. So a quick class for everybody. What does it mean to have an artificial intelligence system? Basically, to be able to sense, to be able to take information in, to be able to understand that information, and then be able to do something with that information. So, for example, if you're creating an account, or let's say you're using a Google Translate or something like that, you plug in English, Google Translate understands and understands what you're trying to say, and then converts it to Yoruba. That's a mini artificial intelligence system. You can scale that to so many different applications. And when we're talking about robots, basically it's an embodied artificial intelligence system, so something that has a physical body. So you're sensing, you're planning, and then you're acting as well. Just make, is the mic, is the sound good for everybody at the back, yeah? Okay, cool. So, Africa needs to think about artificial intelligence and robotics. Just because today, the risk, if we don't think about it and start to look at implementing it, is deindustrialization. And that means, in the decades to come, everybody goes back to farming. Africa is going to be a dark continent that can't play on a global scale because we don't have the technology to be able to, even communicate with those other places. The benefit that artificial intelligence and robotics can have for an economy are things like improving education. Knowing, because people learn in so many different ways. How do you know what works for one person versus someone else? Artificial intelligence systems can help with that. When it comes to healthcare, for example, looking at lots of information about different diseases and how you can use that information to start to come up with solutions. Drug development, for example, automating that process. Years and things that would normally take years in the lab with lots of people looking at it, you can leave a computer overnight to think about it and suddenly you can have a solution. Food production, precision fertilizer delivery. Improving the capacity of existing infrastructure. Lagos traffic. Everyone should be familiar with that. Why don't the traffic lights react to the number of cars on the road? So if one road is too busy and the other is not busy, how can you change that, right? So artificial intelligence systems have so much that they can give to the world. And ultimately, they drive economic growth, development, and democratization of technology. So you guys have you probably heard so many things about Nigeria, and you've also heard so many things about me on the internet, for example. But it's not just about me. If we look at some of the case studies, actually, of young people in Nigeria doing really interesting things. So there was this boy, Wisdom, 16-year-old from Port Harcourt. There was a video that the BBC shot of him, and he's building cranes and caterpillars and teaching his friends, how to make robots. There was this young lady. Her name's Fatia Abdullahi, 12 years old, thinking about building robots to do the boring things that we don't want to do, like folding clothes, laundry, things like that. I think there's Joshua here today, Joshua Daniel, who, he started building, drones and vacuum cleaners and gaming robots to develop his engineering skills, right? So there's talent, obviously. So why isn't there artificial intelligence and robotics in Africa? And today I had the privilege, mostly thanks to all of you that have shared this story, to be one of the people at the forefront of robotics technology. So if I look at my story, left Nigeria when I was 12, went to the UK, had the opportunity to study robotics, went to one of the best labs, started a company, partnered with some of the biggest companies in the world. I take 3 things out of that in terms of how did I go from A to B, and how can we create an ecosystem that can then support other people to get there. So if we look at a recipe, the first thing that the guy from Yola was saying, education, that's the foundation of it all. If you don't have a good education system, you will never be able to develop the capability and the capacity to build these world-leading technologies. The second thing is an ecosystem that then develops that. I went through school, went to a lab, got some grants, built my company. I was able to go through all and have different people that I could interact with. And then the third is opportunity. To have the chance for me to then take my ideas and actually bring it to life. So if Nigeria, if Africa starts looking at, okay, how do we enable artificial intelligence and robotics, and any other technological verticals that we want to look at, from medicine, because I'm passionate about robotics. Dr. Okolo was passionate about space. Some people here are passionate about, medicine. Some people are passionate about agriculture. But when you start thinking of technology, this is your foundation recipe. And so looking at my story, over the last 2 years, there's something big and something challenging that I've been thinking of. How do I contribute back? How do I make an impact? For me, I got to the point where I could think of an idea and bring it to life. I was able to fulfill my passion. So now, for me, it's a case of to whom much is given, much is expected. And I know that in Nigeria, we're very sentimental, we're very spiritual. One day in the future, on your deathbed, what contribution do you want to see as given to the world? So for me, it became a case of how do we enable robotics across all of Africa? And that's where Awari comes from. So Awari, for the Yoruba people, means to seek and find. It also has other meanings across different African languages, but it's to do with intellect, it's to do with overcoming challenges. And that's why I think it's a Pan-African strong word that can bring us all together. So when we start looking at what I aim to bring to Africa with Awari, this is what we're talking about. Starting first with the education system. From secondary school students to primary school students to alpha school students. How do you lay the foundation to reach these people? Because without starting with them first, there's no end goal. And then second is the workforce. How do you start to enable the workforce? Starting with upskilling existing university students. And it's not just about going to university. Some of the best engineers that I hired at my company didn't finish their university degree. It was what they had in their head and the capability and capacity that they had. Right? So that includes engineering technicians, but you need to have a background and interest in those foundational skills. So what I want to bring is a full stack solution. Starting first with exposure. You start with young kids and make sure that they see what technology is possible. Make sure that they know that frontier technology is possible. I shared this story yesterday. The first time I saw a computer, a real life computer, was at my school. So this was in Ede, in Osun State. Someone came to school, brought a computer system, a monitor, a keyboard, a CPU. It didn't work. The CPU was empty. But for me, it showed, okay, this is a computer unit, this is a computer system. And therefore, that made it real for me. So just to expose people, because again, there's this saying, sufficiently advanced technology is like magic. If you could tell people, from 10,000 years ago that you could get on a plane and fly, they'll think you're a witch doctor. But today, it's technology that everybody takes for granted, right? So the very first thing is that exposure piece. The second is inspiring people. Growing up, how many people know the leading engineers and scientists in the world today? Guaranteed things like Bill Gates, and these people have contributed to the global economy. They're doing a good job, but there are also lots of people from Africa that are doing those amazing things. So start sharing their stories so that people can start to create heroes that look like them and know that they also can do amazing things. And then the third is to give people the skills that they actually need. That's where the bulk of the work comes from. So the first piece of dedication to expose people to technology is the education part. So the World Economic Forum came up with some studies recently where they're saying by 2020, literally next year, the top 3 skills that are going to be needed by young people. So they're not saying it's maths, it's science, it's all these crazy stuff, it's complex problem solving, critical thinking, and creativity. And the reason is because the world is changing so much, right? This should be the foundation of every education system. And that was something that we developed so well at each robotics when we're looking at the gaming system. Something that started as a passion of mine, combining robotics and gaming. And then we turned it into an education tool. And now, because I've had the privilege to see that side of the world, how you bring complex technology to life, while I also intimately understand the challenges that Africa faces when it comes to education systems, especially when it comes to robotics. Cost is a big part of that. So the goal is to have a sort of $100 robotics kit that can be useful pan-African. Because at the moment, most of the kits cost, $3,000, $5,000, which means for the cost of, one kit, you can have another kit that you're able to use to educate, hundreds of students. I love that the people earlier today were shining some lights on gaming. Shows that Techplus is forward thinking as well. Gaming develops other types of skills, and especially when you start to combine that with, developing technology and frontier technology like robotics, augmented reality. You have the opportunity to not only grab the attention of young people, but you get them to start thinking, to get curious, and ultimately start to learn. So I'll show you a little video of the education platform that we're planning to start rolling out, starting from today actually. So there's a place called STEM Cafe, where they were for the first time using Mechamon in Africa to teach young kids how to code. And the goal is, for this not to be something that is accessible to private kids, but actually working with governments as well and starting to facilitate how you get this across Africa. I just want to make sure we don't actually skip the video. We're going to need sound. Just restart the video. We'll be the play button down here. Okay, I'll talk you guys through the video so that we don't end up having a tech issue. So basically, we're starting with allowing people to draw. So programming is not overly complicated. You can draw a line and teach people how to sequence the movements of a robot. That's the start. And then second, we have a drag and drop interface. So allowing people to, when people think about coding, they're thinking, crazy, complex lines and things like that. We have boxes that you can just drag and drop and chain actions together. Allowing people to start seeing, because there are different types of learning. Some people learn by reading, some people learn by moving and touching. And this video was shot in the UK to show you that this is a world-class product. It's being used in the UK, it's being used in the US to teach young people how to code. And ultimately, you also have complex programming as well that you can introduce into the system. So the goal is, this is already in Africa now, and next year you're just going to start seeing more and more of it. So you start by learning to explore and draw. to being able to create, because it's not just about the complexity, it's not just STEM anymore. Science, technology, engineering, and math. You need the arts elements as well. That's why it's called STEAM now. Because whenever you have a technology ecosystem, there are people that have to create how you interface with people. You know, when you use your computer today, you're not going there and rebuilding it from scratch. You're not going there and writing code. You're just using your mouse to, drag and drop and click. And that is the place that arts has to play when it comes to technology. The second thing is you can also now expand this. So this is not just a platform for young people. It's also, you can start to add things onto it, which means what you buy at first doesn't become useless after a year. It can go all the way through the education system. The second is we're going to be launching an academy. So going through, taking people from foundational modules to the engineering vertical or educational vertical. Because what Africa needs is not just, there's a need for a curriculum reform, but also better educators. So you're either, teaching teachers to teach better, or you're injecting, new teachers into the system. And ultimately, to then deploy them into the workforce. And then third is, the same way that China has done, develop the foundational infrastructure, but you also have to think of the future as well. If we only focus on building roads and things like that, we're going to be left far behind. In parallel, we need to be building roads and fixing Lagos traffic and everything else and building internet, but also start to have spaces where we can do research to actually solve challenges that we're facing in Africa. So, and that comes to the point of what they were saying about Yolan. I love that because for me, it was a good way of thinking about how do you facilitate inclusion. Now, the programming world is in English. You have some movement in China, you have some programming in China. But the most important thing is actually the data that goes into artificial intelligence systems. Right? If you're not training it on Yoruba, on Igbo, and also on all these other different languages, the day-to-day lives of people and what they actually use to interact with each other, those artificial intelligence systems will leave us behind. And therefore, if we want to be a part of that artificial intelligence discussion and the robotics discussion, we need to get more Africans into creating and into building artificial intelligence systems. If we can follow that recipe, ultimately, we'll have opportunities to drive economic growth. If you guys take anything away from this, not just the older generation, but also the young people as well, it's that the fourth industrial revolution is here already. We've gone through initially mechanization, making farming systems better. Then we started going to mass production. This is what we call industrial revolution. Then we went to computers and animation, and now we're having 5G and systems that talk to each other, smart fridges that can anticipate when you're about to run out of things. The world is changing, and if we don't equip the young people on the African continent with the skills that they need to play in that space, we're going to have a huge problem. And so this also goes to you young people as well. Education is so democratized today. You can go online and learn a lot of stuff. A lot of people feel like they've been let down by the government and things like that. And the beauty of internet technology today, all of the Instagram and selfie and things like that, the same device can be used to go out there and learn coding. WhatsApp, anyone in this group could have coded that if you have access to a computer, right? So if you are able to start thinking of solutions and coming together and start creating things, Africa will be a better place for it. And hopefully we can catch them while they're young and start to turn them into world-leading and world-class engineers. Thank you very much.